shout out to Hooper for being based AF recently at a Massachusetts screening of Jaws. Richard Dreyfuss, acting legend, kind of Steven Spielberg's right-hand man during the 70s and 80s, went on an absolute tear that I agree with 100% of, at least the clips of the speech that I've seen so far. I will go through some of it, and I'll let you decide who you would line up with. Richard Dreyfuss sparks outrage. Massachusetts theater apologizes for his offensive and distressing remarks at a Jaws screening. Oh my god. I suppose we're going to need a bigger safe space. In recent years, Jaws star Richard Dreyfuss has come under fire for speaking on subjects such as Oscar diversity requirements and the use of blackface. Alright, so super based right now. At a Jaws retrospective screening, there were probably some wokey screaming there, but they were in Beverly, Mass, right? Like, so Beverly, a suburb of Salem, Boston specifically, and the type of people that are in Boston nowadays are siding with the, mayor, Michelle Wu, who's going to stop prosecuting, shoplifting, larceny, disorderly conduct, receiving stolen property, driving with a suspended license, breaking and entering with property damage, wanton and malicious destruction of property, threats, minor in possession of alcohol, marijuana possession, possession with intent to distribute, and non-marijuana drug possession. Yes, fantastic. So these are the type of people who are going to vote for this type of nonsense, that are going to be offended by an old man streaming an older movie because he has common sensibilities. But yeah, over the past Saturday, he appeared to take an inflammatory remarks even further as he ranted about subjects reported to include trans people, Barbara Streisand, the Me Too movement, and women in general, based as attendee Diane Wolf described it to the Boston Globe. Diane Wolf, huh? Interesting. Dreyfuss said that parents of trans youth allowing them to transition was bad parenting and that someday those kids might change their mind. Very transphobic to coming to the reasonable conclusion that trans youth, you don't allow them, unless of course you're Michelle Wu, to make any other decisions in regards to intoxicants coming into their body, but preventing puberty from happening, making life-altering surgery decisions. They might end up growing up like so many, and I forget the percentage, and I'm pretty sure that it's over half of them, end up regretting their decisions, and that's just trans in general. As we're finding out more and more, it's not so much a solution to a problem, it's a cry for help. In a statement, Cabot executives, this was at the Cabot Theater, I do believe, Executive Director J. Casey Stoward apologized for not anticipating that Dreyfuss might say provocative things on stage. We regret that an event that was meant to be a conversation to celebrate an iconic movie instead became a platform for political views. We're going to go ahead and reinforce and virtue signal our own political views. We take full responsibility for the oversight and not anticipating the direction of the conversation, the discomfort it caused to many patrons. How many? How many people going down and wanting to watch Jaws with some of the original cast aren't based as hell? Like, come on now. Outside of the journalist class that are just looking to be perpetually offended, we are in active dialogue with our patrons about the experience and are committed to learning from this event how to better enact our mission of entertaining, educating, and inspiring our community. Cabot also sent an email to those who purchased tickets to the event in New Bedford, Massachusetts radio station WBSM. Oh, BSM, huh? Interesting. And apologized for comments that characterized as offensive and distressing. Well, so far all we've heard is just trans parents aren't really doing a good job. And it's just about that statement, and that's what's prompting this ridiculous overcompensation. But here's the email. Okay, dear Cabot patrons, I am writing to address the important matter concerning last night's event with Richard Dreyfuss at the Cabot. We deeply regret that Mr. Dreyfuss's comments during the event were not in line with the values of inclusivity and respect that we uphold at the Cabot. We understand that his remarks are distressing and offensive to many of our community members, and for that we sincerely apologize. Like, is this a gay theater? Like, in all honesty, you're talking about this, like, widely held beliefs that trans kids just need to be affirmed above all else. It's like, nobody else, like, normies don't agree with this at all whatsoever. But you think they do. At the Cabot, we are committed to fostering a welcoming and inclusive environment, except for bigots who have differing opinions, for all members of our community, for all members, and now we're just going to go ahead and condemn somebody for their opinions? Okay, The views expressed by Mr. Dreyfuss do not reflect our beliefs, and we do not endorse them in any way. We take full responsibility for the oversight. Oh my God, how long is this modeling apology going on for? In a video an attendee posted on YouTube, Dreyfuss comes on stage to applause while a Taylor Swift song plays, wearing a dress over his clothes, which their stage hands then remove before he sits down. Yeah, kind of sounds like somebody's having a laugh. Facebook commenters expressed anger over his comments. Oh my God, on Facebook, guys, a bunch of Karens and mentally unwell people, why am I being redundant, are taking umbrage with this. Not actual people that were in the audience, characterizing them as vile, dehumanizing. Wow, aren't we doing the same thing? Abhorrent things about trans youths. What, that they might eventually come to their senses later in life? That's abhorrent about trans youth? Gay people, women, and survivors of abuse? What the hell? A young family with a 10-year-old daughter had to leave. Oh, okay, recanted another commenter. How do you know that? Dozens of patrons reportedly walked out of the venue. Dozens, guys, dozens of people. In a theater which only holds dozens of people. I think if he cleared the room, this would be a bigger story than just a bunch of spectators on Facebook. After the screening, another video posted to YouTube shows him talking about a book he published in 2022. Why don't you tell us about your new book? The moderator says. Oh, okay, cool. So he was prompted instead of, we didn't know this would go into the realm of politics. What was the book that he published in 2022? It's called One Thought That Scares Me, Dreyfuss answers. It's about how 50 years ago, without telling anyone, they took civics out of the curriculum. Oh, which means we have no knowledge of who the hell we are, he remarks. Oh, his remarks were met with applause from the remaining moviegoers, which was probably fairly thunderous. Dreyfuss could not immediately be reached for a comment during the holiday weekend. Representatives for the Cabot did not respond. They were too busy crying over their emails that they were sending out there. I mean, we got the video that's right here. And, oh, the moderator, yeah, is a woman. So if these were so anti-female comments, wouldn't you think that, I don't know, she might have taken umbrage with any of them? But let's just take a look, right? Okay. So that applause sounds pretty full. Good, copyright claims. We'll just get them, sitting down and all that stuff. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Okay, Rich, what are we doing? What? Let's go. Okay, now you're just putting on walking on stage. So he's walking on stage. What are we doing? Really looks like he hates gay people and all that stuff, but you didn't tell us anything that he said. But it's enough to get his son to distance himself? Like, yo, man, I couldn't imagine, okay? My father, I love him with every fiber of my being. Great man. There's nothing that he could say, especially as tepid as what we've been presented with, that would ever get me to distance myself from him. This is a bitch-made move. Okay, for as much as I'm going to hold up, Richard Dreyfuss as just being a base dude, you kind of raise the fruit. So maybe that's why he's so against the gay agenda. Anyways, it might have looked as if Ben Dreyfuss, the son of actor Richard Dreyfuss, distanced himself from his father's latest controversy by lightheartedly addressing the dust-up the Oscar winner recently had at a recent Jaws screening. I thought that didn't say Jaws, as I was just glancing over it. I thought the A was an E, and that would have been a very different conversation. But when he was talking about the disgusting, outrageous behavior of one of his family members, he was not, in fact, talking about a 76-year-old father. Oh, you clickbaiting bastards at the LA Times. I hate you so much. The elder Dreyfuss, who starred in Jaws and American Graffiti, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, like the guy's a legend, caused a stir at the Cabot in Beverly, Mass. Talked about gay individuals, Me Too movement, prompting a formal apology. But the younger Dreyfuss, who is a journalist and who played a younger version of his father's character in Madoff, made light of the situation in a Monday tweet. My father, well, now you know why I refused to give him my password on my own Twitter account for a decade. He wrote on Twitter, this will be my only statement on the matter. Thank you. Making a joke? Okay, that's pretty based, okay? At the beginning, when I was talking about his son being a bitch, that was about a different son. He has another son, Jim Dreyfuss. Don't worry about it. But it wasn't. As the media picked up his apparent reaction, Ben Dreyfuss clarified his prior tweet, and he sent out the I sent about the disgusting, outrageous behavior of one of his relatives was misconstrued. Ben Dreyfuss said he was simply quipping about the fact that his sister now uses an Android phone. Yo, even more based. W. Dreyfuss family. This Daily Mail article mischaracterizes this thread. He added up in a follow-up tweet, "I'm obviously not a left-wing activist, and the joke, oh my god, raising based kids, fantastic." Wasn't the part about his Twitter account. It was a part about discussing outrageous behavior of my sister adopting Android, which, okay, we've got to have words on this because Android is the far superior cell phone platform, but that's another topic for another time. I did not call my dad's behavior disgusting or outrageous since I wasn't there and didn't see it. Yeah, and again, all we're getting is quotes. We aren't really getting anything confirmed. They're just saying, oh yeah, Richard, he was saying a bunch of stuff about a bunch of people, but in reality, he said that trans kids probably need some time to think on it because they could end up coming to a different conclusion later in life. Other opinions purportedly made before a screening of Jaws. So yeah, we have video. Okay, so let me get this straight here for a second. We're trying to cancel a guy that we have video of getting on stage, but we don't have any video of his inflammatory remarks. This is one of the most egregious attempts at cancellations I have seen in a very, very long time. And then to also try to drag his son into this stuff, yo man, journalism is getting desperate. You better hope that there is a very productive election season, because I know the financial standings of the Los Angeles Times, and well, you better get while the getting's good, because by the time that 2028, the next presidential election cycle rolls around, yeah, there won't be too much times left for you. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.